Hey everybody, it's your boy Lock Zero and my brother.
It's Rev. Joining you from the first time, fresh face, looking fresh. Let's go. Ready. Got a new attitude. Let's get it.
All right, he's obviously pumped up. He's ready for chapter 1003.
Let me just start off
Uh,
saying the chapter is everything I wanted and more. It had things I didn't know I needed. Blew me away. I love it. Cover art, even everything top notch. I love it.
yeah, this
Just
this
fucking
chapter
hype.
is this chapter is pretty fucking pretty hype. But yeah, chapter 1003, the night reflected on a go board, and the go is that Japanese game with the little white and black pieces. I don't know the rules, but yeah, kind of put your mind in the where this theme is headed.
Similar to I believe chess, but like obviously with much different rules. I'd like if someone could explain the rules to Go. I'd love to know if how similar it is, what the differences are. Yeah, give
Yeah,
me a whole breakdown into a game because I'm too lazy to research. No, I'm kidding. But yes, definitely a strategy game. So very complex meaning off with the chapter title off the bat. You know, the night reflected on the Go board. So does it mean about the strategy going on today? Is it talking about a bigger strategy?
we will see. But we
Yeah.
got a cover art request by Noda Skywalker, a scorpion confessing his love to Reiju with a cactus flower, and Reiju is at the very least bemused by this gesture. Scorpion has a weird ass tail, by the way. Not the typical tail you see for a scorpion, but interesting nonetheless.
I don't know if that double barb. Yeah. Um,
She seems to be
it's very
drinking Starbucks as well with a little
maybe
cake.
a little tiramisu or something at the cafe Poison. It looks like in the background. Love the little red blush on the scorpion's face. Do you love me? She's like, maybe. I'm gonna play with your own feelings for a while. But
I'm gonna tease you with that hint of sexuality to keep you sniffing around, but not actually do anything. So enjoy that. You
all
can
right. So
simp. You can simp for me like Sanji does.
that really is just Sanji in disguise, actually. No. All right, but let's jump into it. We get to the first chapter, and we start off with
In the first page.
the first page. Yeah, sorry, the first one. With Luffy absolutely whipping Kaido's head, body, everything, every part of him just laying into him with that Kong machine gun attack he just laid out and hits him in the face. His eyes are white. Looks like some blood coming out of his mouth. Hits him with the body shots and keeps unloading. And Kaido can't do anything, can't counterattack, only can take these attacks from every single direction. And we go down and we see the other supernovas are looking at Luffy just dominate Kaido. And they're a little taken aback. It looks like, I mean, I can only see their back profiles, but even their back profiles are like, oh, I'm stunned with this awesomeness that's happening. And we see Luffy right in there, and he's breathing hard. It looks like he's expending every bit of energy he has with all these shots. Big Mom is just absolutely stunned out of her mind. She goes completely stone faced.
Mm.
So one of the Yonkos is impressed beyond belief. She's can't believe, just similar to that prop she gave Zoro. I think she just was like, "Oh my god, this guy is not a joke now."
Yeah,
Um,
it's hard to tell sometimes if there's blood coming out or what's happening because like there's so much like little there's like rubble and Kaido's hair is like fragmented and black and like there's just so many things going on. It does seem like there's a little bit of blood, but who knows, man? Like it's kind of all over the
it is
fucking place.
it is up for yeah. You don't know, and it's all about like how much these hits doing. But I mean, he's fucking laying Kaido out, and it doesn't look like Kaido's laughing this off.
Yeah.
And so we go down to the next page, and Kaido seems to regroup for just a half second. But Luffy follows it up with a big winding punch. He's pulling back with everything he has with a kacha, and he unloads, hits him with that final shot, sending Kaido's face absolutely smashing into the ground. Just hits him with an and this, pops him to the top dome of Onishigama. We see a big explosion on the top of the island. Could it be bigger than the damage did by that Zoro slash? I don't know, but it was a pretty impressive shot, enough to be seen from miles away. It looks like, and
Mhm.
even Kid is like, "Oh my god!" He's. We see a flash of his face, just noting he's absolutely amazed by Luffy what he's doing right now.
Yeah. And I will say this, Kaido is like casually still making the island like fly,
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Like if he got knocked unconscious, would it just fall out the sky? Like I don't know, but there's some kind of impressiveness to being able to take on this huge ass fight and still make a humongous ass island fly through the sky. But yeah, kid is super impressed or taken aback, suffice to say.
Or jealous. Who knows? Range of emotions.
But yeah, Luffy is seemingly here is being very winded, and he's going huff huff, and Big Mom is like, "What the hell, Kaido?" And Kaido is just like, "Rah!" looking like a
Just
dead
looking in the dirt.
cockroach. And everybody's a little shocked, and Luffy is losing his G4, and all his steam is falling out of him, and Zoro takes notice of this, Law takes notice of this, and Kid is confused because he's never seen this before, and he's, huh? When did he get hit? And Law elaborates and says, he didn't. This is a side effect from me coming that wrecking ball thing. He'll be unable to use hockey for 10 minutes. And
Which is
Kid,
kind of still crazy. Like I thought he'd be, done with this kind of limitation already, but
yeah.
okay, we're gonna build some more intrigue, I guess, in the battle.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because I have
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
words to say.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, kid speaks up to, so there are drawbacks to that kind of power, huh? Well, it'll be worth it if those blows did damage. And Big Mom picks up the scene and she's, Mama, done already? You really gave it your all, didn't you? It's kind of mocking Luffy. He's laid out on the floor, and she swings overhead with a motherly, and Zoro, comes in, and what we got going on here?
Saves Luffy from certain death because Big Mom hits him with his fire like sword attack, destroying the ground. But luckily Zoro's there to save him, take him out the way, and narrowly dodge this attack. We scoot down. We see Kid and Killer.
It's a weird dodge, by the way. He's like yoink. He's kind of like skipping aside.
A little jovial moment there, battling a Yonko from Zoro, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But you think he'd have been like, "Oh shit!" But yeah, we see Kid and Killer getting ready for their counterattack. We see Kid saying to Killer, "Hey, Killer, don't let up now. We're gonna finish Kaido off." And someone saying, "Give me straw." That's Big Mom, I think, in the background yelling, "Give me straw hat." So it looks like Zoro just skipping away, la di da di da, away from Big Mom. I'm surprised he didn't use his sword to block her. Like, I mean, you'd think like fire sword. I just learned to cut swords. I got 3 swords.
Yeah.
Maybe just do a little sword on
They
the sword
they
action.
they can't keep hyping him up so much. Like people, Zoro fans are gonna like lose their minds in a second with all the feats he's been accomplishing. So if he deflected Big Mom on top of that, they'd be like, "Yo, Zoro's the best. Zoro over Luffy." Like
Yeah, look, Luffy's lying on the ground. No, but it's like battle, man. I mean, we'll talk about it later. But
yeah,
anyways, yeah. So Killer and Kid getting ready. Kid has all his Mechana droid Gundam bot thing fully loaded again. They're there, and we see Big Mom notice. Actually, we're flashing back to Big Mom. I apologize. And we see Law jump in with a quick teleportation movement. It looks like she notices. He hits her with the counter shock attack, damaging her insides. And this actually seems to take a lot of damage to Big Mom. She screams ah, and we see hockey and everything fly everywhere.
yeah.
So,
Doesn't seem to be pleasant in any way, shape, or form. But like this is a big moment. Like as far as I recall, this is the only person who we've seen do damage to Big Mom. So you know,
well, not only Big Mom, he also hit Kaido with a significant blow last week too. So he's doing damage on both emperors. Let's not sleep on Law here.
yeah.
I think he's definitely shown a lot there quietly. That's his thing though, quiet and dangerous.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, Kaido's the sleeping dragon is waking, and Kid is not obviously making it to him in time, and so I guess you could say Luffy incapacitated him for a moment. Whether it was for a long moment is something else, but you know, Yeah, Kaido's getting up, and Kid is just like, what's that? And he's seeing Kaido just starting to swirl around, and he uses his fourth Pokemon move, Dragon Twister, just unleashing tornadoes all over the place, just looking like a straight up like beast over here.
And these tornadoes are summoning lightning clouds, which summon great thunderbolts we're seeing in the background. So
Yeah,
another great force of nature attack. Galestrom, Hailstrom, super hurricane mega damage.
and
But yeah, Kid
mhm.
is like running in and he gets hit with one of these, wind blasts, and him and Killer just go flying back from one of these tornadoes, and Kaido's just looking angry and screaming to the world. This would be an amazing rock concert to go to. No, I'm kidding.
Zoro describes it pretty aptly. He says, "You got to be kidding me! This really is like facing a natural disaster." And he's like, "Oh, I let my guard down." He
He
seems to
just
be obsessed with letting
drops.
people letting their guards down. He lets his own guard down. Everybody lets the guard down.
How could
Like,
he be the best if he lets his guard down, man? Come on, guys. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, he trips on a rock because that's what the best swordsman in the world would do. And Luffy goes flying into the air. And we see Kaido in the background zipping in, gonna try and take a bite out of Luffy, and we see him swallow Luffy whole. Oh shit. And in the next scene, Zoro rages up. He's like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing to my captain?" He's like, "There's no way I'm gonna let you eat him." And he goes for all three swords with Odin's sword pointing outward, doing the lead attack. Kaido immediately.
I don't think that's actually the one that's pointing outward.
You don't think so?
Because the when you look at the panel beneath it, the one that's behind him is the one that's like glowing with the aura and shit. You know what I mean? Where Kaido goes, huh? And then you see the dragon shroud around his sword. And then you
Which
just
the guard of Odin's blade, that one had 3 or 4 rings around. Do you remember?
um
Because the backhanded one, the
I,
one on his right hand has 3. The forward one has 4. So if it's the 3 one, that's yeah, you'd be right. I think you're right on that one actually.
let me
Uh,
look it up really quick.
yeah, but continue on.
Yeah,
You
Odin's sword
on.
has the three
Yeah.
pieces.
Okay, so you are correct in that. Yeah, that was the back one was Odin's sword. Okay, so he's loading up with like this dragon aura with the 3 swords lined up in one row, from his mouth to his back to his forward. And we see Kaido notice the aura, and he's like, "So this is the sword. So the sword is the source of that strange haki." And then we
You know
just
what?
see,
All right, I'm make a note about this because I gotta talk about that shit as well. But continue.
and then in the next panel, we see a huge splash page of Zoro just zipping through, hitting him with a Kalatsura Great Dragon Twister. And he does well, one, he forms what seems to be a giant tornado with Kaido in the middle of it, and he also slashes Kaido middle of his body, drawing blood, cutting his scales. Not the big X, but it looks like one half of that X that at least Odin put on him, or significant damage. It looks like Killer notes right away. Oh, he penetrated his scales, and Kaido has to spit up Luffy because his mouth jumps open from being slashed, which is a good move by Zoro.
Mhm.
Kaido falls to the ground. It looks like, and Big Mom notices, that brat, he actually cut Kaido. And Kaido immediately, with rage in his eyes, says, yes, that stinging sensation. I get it now. So it's Odin's sword. And he comments, to think you try to counter my twister with your own? And he just laughs it out. What? And the next page, we see a huge panel of Kaido loading up and gearing up for Dragon Twister, Gale of Destruction. Apparently, he learned a new move because he got enough experience and replaced Dragon Twister with Dragon Twister, Gale of Destruction. From
Yeah,
wing attack to sky attack. And this, instead of creating giant tornadoes, he's creating similar the blades,
the
the
wind
air blades,
blades.
that he used against the 7 swordsmen. And we see
Well, he
Luffy
did
flying
this
around.
before too. This was in the previous chapter, I think, when Zoro just kind of like smacked it away and everybody else just kind of dodged. But it looked like something he would shoot from his mouth, but now he seems like he can just throw it out from his entire body, and he's doing some fucking sonic attack here and just unleashing them all over the place, spinning like super fast, like rapidly, and unleashing all these waves. And we see more of Kid just not giving a shit about getting sliced up because he can just reassemble things, and Law is just instant transmissioning all over the place. Zoro is dodging as best he can, holding on to Luffy, and even Killer, pulling it off like Zoro did in the previous chapter. Like I thought it was a feat for Zoro to just like smack it away like with like no strain whatsoever, but Killer is able to accomplish the same thing, just completely smacking them away as well.
Well, we see from him from the back, so we don't know how much strain he's really putting on there. But he is
He's
blasting away through
deflecting
the
them.
blades. He's deflecting to the attack. So, but
Yeah,
still impressive. It's still a Yonko that's attacking you. So,
yeah.
props to
And
Killer.
we got debris coming down from the ceiling, and everybody inside is like, the battle on the roof must be insane. The debris keeps raining down. And we see this bitch ass mofo's head over here. Good grief, our supplier went and got himself killed. And the feast they invite us to is devolving to a full-blown battlefield. Mysterious hand moving around.
Now we see the reference from the title page with a go board with a mysterious gloved hand, yeah, lining up pieces on the board against each other. I guess mimicking the battle going on around them.
Yep.
Continue.
And he says, it seems this skirmish is the result of a grudge that has festered within Wano for the past 20 years after Doflamingo's defeats. A clash between Kaido and the worst generation became inevitable, but it almost seems like fate conspired to make allies of the samurai and these pirates. And we have Corey Taylor from Slipknot, moving some pieces around here on the go board, and we see the world's strongest intelligence agency, CP0. And yeah, they're all just chilling while a huge raging battle is going on outside, and he says the world is about to undergo a drastic shift. If two of the emperors were to fall here, their future would definitely become uncertain, but that outcome is impossible. Bang, bang, bang.
And by the way, we want to note that three different people said this, so three different members each all said that.
Yeah.
And he said it coordinated. So is it three members? Is it one member? Is it three people being one? Who knows? All I know is these guys are three creepy dudes with either masks or face coverings. So
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say that the face coverings indicate anything about their personalities,
do you
given
think
that.
that first guy is Rob Lucci, by the way?
Well, all right, I'll talk about that at the end, because that is something that I want
Oh, I
to
guess we've seen
bring
him in
up.
other places too. So maybe not. That would be a bad theory. But anyways, these three CP0 members are all playing around the Go board,
Mhm.
strategizing about what's going on outside with music playing. They're just chilling, getting drunk, enjoying these obvious escorts, lovely ladies, and drinking, having a party. And we go down. It says, and it looks like I guess it's a spy or one of the people from Kaido is reporting to them what's going on, or maybe it's their spy. But she says the invaders are 5,400 men strong.
Well, that's
But
Bao Huang. I'm pretty sure that's Bao Huang.
Hong, is she a part of the nation's forces or Kaido's forces? She's like
She's a
Wano's.
subordinate of who's who. Anybody with that eye thing on them is part of his crew, as far as I can tell. But she's one of who's who subordinates. What this indicates about who's who. I mean, I don't think it's that complicated. I think it's just, like he goes on to say, they were invited to the party and they're just being entertained. I don't think Bao Huang is a combatant. So she's sitting there playing music and just kind of bemusingly taking in the scene and describing it, what's going on. But yeah, who knows? But
Oh,
continue.
so part of okay, I remember this guy now because I was getting because One Piece is just there's so many people. So who is part of the Topi Rippo? Okay,
Yeah.
part of Kaido's crew. Interesting. So either Kaido's reporting these guys, or Kaido's subordinates are reporting these guys, or we have more complex layers going on. That guy also wears a mask.
Hmm.
Masked people are not to be trusted.
And he did say he knew he's seen Jinbei before, so who knows? I mean,
Mhm.
Jinbei was a warlord. Maybe he saw him working in some kind of government capacity. Who knows?
And it'd be foolish to assume that the government wouldn't have high-placed spies in the Emperor's units either, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
but yeah,
Yeah.
let's continue. Let's not get
And
bogged down in.
so yeah. So she comments, the invaders are 5,400 men strong, but they've already lost 400 men, so leaving about 5,000. She says our associates have 30,000 men and 3,000 casualties. So, wow. All right, they're inflicting a lot of damage, but not at the scale they need to. Obviously, the CP0 member comments, the samurai have done pretty well considering the odds. If they tried the direct approach with their numbers, it would have been impossible to reach the opposing general. Launching a surprise raid was a brilliant move. But he's like, but that said, in this war, simply assassinating the enemy's leadership is unlikely to settle the conflict. And we see Beppo and Law's crew assisting and messing up with some of the Smile members.
Mm.
And we see a shot of a go board lined up with only 5 white pieces against 27 black pieces, representing the 1,000 opponents each. So 27 for one side, 5,000 for the other. And they've come in an all-out war is unfolding across the whole island, and there's no way out. If they do nothing to counter the might of Kaido's executive, they stand to lose hundreds of troops at a time. And the follow-up page is showing Frankie fighting Yamato? Not Yamato. No, not
Sasaki.
Sasaki. So Sasaki and Frankie fighting. He's in a comment, if this new generation is unable to stand against the executives, it will be like getting surrounded by black stones on a go board. They'll be finished. We see Sanji bleeding and looking very surprised. We see Usopp and Nami running away with Nami seemingly shooting off some electricity behind her. We see Pepe, I believe, following.
Ulti.
Ulti following. We see Jembe battling, but not looking too stressed yet. He's in a comment that this confrontation is developing as expected. Please continue to do your utmost to take each other out, my dear pirates. And we see also one more page of Yamato protecting Momo and Kanochi. Yes. But that CP0 guy is loving the chaos that's going around. Absolutely, I guess he wants everybody to kill each other. Because that's the vibe I'm getting right there. Real ominous shit.
Mhm.
Right.
And
And
yeah, we got this panel with these 3. I'm assuming this is like entrances, or to like the top of the roof, at the top of the Onigashima Castle. Is I don't know why they they made this a panel, put some focus on this, but
yeah, no importance is there. But one of the
um
doors is unopened, I guess, unbroken. Maybe that's like symbolizing that one more person's gonna enter the battle later. I don't know.
but Kid goes, "What the hell is that?" And Luffy, all tired out, saying, "Is that Kaido?" And Law says, "It must be his hybrid form." And we go, "Hey, Linlin, this is getting fun. Worororo. Mama, Kaido, I was just thinking the same thing. The mighty emperor has blocked their path." And the thing that makes me jizz in my pants every time I hear it, no break next week.
It's like that's the best
Amazing.
little treat at the end. Even though we don't even see Kaido's form, just all in shadow, but it looks like he's well, we see his hand. It's all scaled up. Looking like freaking Shao Kahn or something. But he's in his dragon hybrid form, so he's back to his to a normal giant, like little giant size, if that makes any sense. But he's done the hybrid form, so it's like a dragon man form, it looks like. And
Mm-hmm. And it
next,
looks like to me he has like a tail kind of going around him at the bottom of the panel. But either way, he's humongous right now, because like
yeah.
Big Mom is half of his size, and he seemingly is like like he's standing on the ground, like she's up floating in the air. So he's big mofo right now. But yeah, we get some confirmation that mythical Zoans can have hybrid forms. um
Why wouldn't they have?
I mean, I don't know. I was debating it for a while, because it's like, we've seen mythical zone people and we haven't seen any hybrid forms up to this point. It's like, wouldn't they have, done it at this point? Wouldn't have somebody have pulled it off, like to show off combat abilities? Like,
I mean, the only two that are mythical now would be what, Drake and Marco. And Marco, I think, is always sort of half like in Phoenix mode because
yeah, and that also lends credence to the whole thing, because it's like, he never went to hybrid form, and he was fighting an all-out war in Marineford. So it's like, and he just like changes parts of his body to,
And I
um,
think X Drake just isn't at that level. I'm just gonna
Drake
say,
isn't a mythical Zoan.
yeah, but he's a dinosaur. He's a T Rex.
Yeah, he's still,
Dinosaurs
yeah.
didn't exist, Oscar. Okay. Okay. But
We've seen
what else?
hybrids from ancient Zoans. We haven't seen it from Jack yet, but I'm sure he has it. But I wasn't saying like 100% they didn't have hybrids, but I was kind of leaning towards like, it seems like they might not have one because they haven't, like they haven't shown it yet. And it's like, why wouldn't Kaido have? I mean, there has to be a reason he's pulling it out. You know what I mean? Like it has to. I'm assuming it has to be his strongest form.
You know what
But
this kind of gave me vibes of? It's like, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, why didn't he just jump from the top at this?" It's like, because why are you gonna go all out all the time for no reason? It's like when Madara like was fighting Kid Inoki. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go all out facing children all the time. Are you freaking crazy?"
yeah,
Similar thing here. Kaido doesn't have to go Super Saiyan fighting, little Earthlings. That's I think his attitude fighting most people.
this is his final Frieza form right now. He's gone
We
through
don't
so
even know if it's his final form. That's an assumption right there. That might not even be his final form.
yeah. I'm
you know,
wondering like if he pulled this out when he was fighting Big Mom when she first showed up, like they had that little sparring session for a day, whatever, before they decided to go into an alliance. Because like I don't know, man, like he seems to be pretty overwhelmingly strong over here in this thing, like in this panel. Um, but I think all right. So let's go over the notes that I made, starting with the whole.
one little extra thing. Does Kaido's club look like it got slimmer?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Hmm.
I mean, given the fact that he's bigger, it should be smaller.
Oh, okay, okay.
I
Yeah, that
mean,
was more
but
skeleton.
no, but it doesn't make sense though because like it got skinnier and longer
Yeah,
versus it should like be
versus
half
small,
that
right?
size.
Yeah,
It
it should
should
look
be
like a
like
little
a
bat.
little.
Yeah,
It should be like a billy club, like a police officer has at this point, given how big he's gotten.
that's a good point. Yeah, that the thing
But
should not
things,
shift. Actually, not.
weapons don't scale because Zoro's using Odin's sword, and Odin was like fucking twice as big as Zoro. So like the sword should be like twice as big as his other swords. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like he was as tall as Whitebeard, right? And Whitebeard was 50 times.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was as tall as Whitebeard, but he was significantly bigger than normal people.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, G4, the G4 issue. Um, this causes controversy because it's like, oh man, like Luffy can't compete with the top people because
Because then a
he,
one-on-one battle, he'd be
yeah,
done in minutes. I mean, just anyone who's been in a fight knows. Like, I mean, most fights don't go on for 10 minutes though, so you gotta kind of like, give them a little leeway, I guess. But
yeah. Um, but I think more than anything, like 'cause I thought he had overcome it too. I thought like he wasn't gonna get gassed out like that. Maybe the Gatling was him like pushing it like to the limits, like just really exhausting all of his energy. So it's
mhm.
like that pushed him to run, like run
I
out of.
thought he'd be like normal again, not like exhausted. Like I thought after the
Yeah,
Katakuri fight, he at least got to that point where he was like, okay, I can handle using hockey in different ways for extended periods of time, and because of that, like your endurance goes up. Like I think everyone wanted his endurance, I guess, in that mode to be like, all right, it's unlimited now.
yeah. I mean, I think the difference though was in the Katakuri fight. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but he was just kind of like chilling for a moment. He wasn't like it wasn't like after he did a big attack, he was like, "Oh shit, I'm running out of steam now." And like, it was something that he consciously thought about versus this is like he just like threw out that huge Gatling attack, kept going until he had no more energy left, and you know what I mean, like, but still, he shouldn't be so gassed out that he can't move around either. It's kind of stupid. Um, yeah, so I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of this trope in general, where the main characters of shonens have these modes or attacks that are like, devastating, but there's a significant, like, it's like a double-edged sword thing, and they're incapacitated or whatever the case might be. Like, I feel like he should be past this already.
Well, I guess he's throwing in there to build drama because I guess he wanted to show like, okay, there's an impressive attack. Now Kaido's going to go to the next level. Now Luffy is going to go to, I guess, another level. Because as impressive as his barrage was, I mean, not for nothing, Kaido was up in like 60 seconds. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, I guess that's impressive, and we got to remember that Kaido has, amazing endurance in a world that has amazing endurance in the fact that, like, like he's gone through what, several deaths or things that could have killed people, and like, kept going, I guess, or kept living. So I guess that just shows like he really is a monster in that regard because this really would have killed, you know, 80% of the characters or something.
yeah. um but yeah, I think more than anything, this thing that's going on is a chance to give other people shine. Like, I think when he's incapacitated, maybe Kid or Law is gonna pick up the mantle for a moment and just kind of, like, because Kid hasn't really done anything crazy significant. I think he needs to have his moment and do something significant, cause some kind of damage. So there's a little, you can put a little bit more respect on Kid's name, and get him hyped up and shit. But ultimately, it won't be enough, and then he'll get taken out, and like, they'll rinse through everybody, and then finally, Luffy will pick up the thing and the pace and just
Smacks him.
wrap things up at the end.
Yeah. But the question is, can he take both of them on at the same time? Mm. Or will it end up being like just like him and Zoro? Because I mean, I it's like I will say all the supernovas are impressing me with the exception of Kid. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't like Kid, but like Law, hit Big Mom, gave her a huge attack. Looks like it really damaged her. She's giving credit to Zoro, and Killer showed up, I think, a lot in this one. I mean, not even and he had a Sonic attack last week, blasting away Kaido's attacks. Putting in some work there, so
Yeah.
really impressed with these guys so far on this level.
And then we have the whole sword or thing that I wanted to bring up. Okay, this makes me kind of agitated because Kaido directly says, let me scroll up so I can pull the statement verbatim.
Yeah.
Um,
He says, so the sword is the source of that strange haki.
yeah, exactly. He directly says it's the sword, but people are still like, man, Zoro's so great, and Zoro is the source. It's like, nah, no, he's not. Like, I'm sure he's accomplished, and he's he's pulling his weight and shit, but you can't deny that there's some inherent,
I mean,
power ability that he's gaining because of the sword.
like you pointed out, we can see him when he's in that dragon mode, when he's summoning, lining up his attack before he launches it. We see like a black flaming aura coming from the back of the sword. Like it's a nasty aura. It's a powerful, thing that's coming from the sword. And it's not to say that Zoro is like, weak or anything, that he's getting all of it from the sword, but obviously the sword is a legendary artifact, and he's getting a
Yeah,
big stat boost from this.
yeah.
Um, and I think this all might be like maybe that's the reason why he isn't like using his sword as much because I think it does cost him energy, a lot of energy to like block with that blade. That might also
Hmm.
be a thing. You know,
Yeah.
consume up his life force or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, Zoro fans need to relax a bit. That's my point. I love Zoro. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, Zoro's cool as shit.
yeah. But then CP0 is super cool this chapter. Um, yeah, I was kind of wondering too, like, if that's Rob Lucci, because it's like back in Dressrosa, we saw that particular mask and that particular guy, walking through the town. And then we had a scene where, at the end, when everything was resolved, of Rob Lucci talking to, I believe it was Kaku, on the transponder snail.
Yeah.
So, it seems like, hey, was that Lucci wearing that mask? But I mean, who knows? Who knows if it's him or if it's somebody else? Um,
It could just be a whole new character that we haven't gotten into yet. That could be possible. I mean, I'm very interested in knowing how all these guys talked in coordination. I guess there's all of one mind, or are they all of one person? Mm, like different aspects. Who knows?
Yeah, I think they're pretty in sync. Um,
Two of these guys look like long arm guys, like two of the long arm tribe.
well, I mean, I think it might be a mislead. Like it might just be some kind of prop to make them look like some weird hunchback people or whatever the case might be.
Mhm.
I think I'm guessing they're just really big people. But yeah, I don't think like when we saw CP9, the mask that they were wearing didn't have any kind of implication or personality trait as far as I could see associated with different characters. So I don't think people should read too much into these masks and be like, oh, well, this person is,
There's like a flower pattern coming out of it, and this guy has like a scar on his eye.
yeah, like
They
this
all
guy's gonna be like a happy disposition and this guy's gonna be a blah blah blah. They're just
there's masks,
yeah.
cool masks. Yeah,
Um,
but the significance of the go board, and I guess it's a really cool referendum on where the battle is right now, and a reminder that yeah, these guys are still really, really, really outnumbered right now. 5 to 27, if you can conceptualize that,
mhm.
Um, so,
Well, to be fair, like I did the percentages, and the Kaido's forces have suffered a 10% loss, versus the samurai have suffered a 7.4% loss. So the samurai percentage wise are winning at this point. And I don't I wish I knew more about math in general to take this out to its logical calculation,
but you
because
can't with war because like it's not like a linear pattern, it's an exponential. So like the more losses they suffer, the more they're gonna like. It's not like okay, each man they take will take equally 5 men. It's like like they'll take five at this point, but then when their numbers dip, they'll only be able to take three out, and then one out, and then they all get wiped
yeah,
out at
yeah,
one.
yeah. It's a ratio thing, is what I think is the issue. You got like I'd want to know how to determine the rate of decline versus the like the two slopes of the rate of decline,
Yeah,
and to accurately predict, because I don't think it would just double. Like there'll be a 20% loss versus a 14.8% loss, and et cetera, et cetera. I
yeah,
think like you know it I think it has to be on a slope or something. But
yeah.
I think the purpose of CP0 here in this chapter, and they mention like, oh, it's not just about taking out the big boss. Um, this shit's not gonna stop until everybody's done. And if you can't take out the executives, then that's gonna have huge ramifications. Like Frankie loses to Sasaki. Sasaki is gonna come into the fray and wipe out a shitload of samurai.
Like
You know what I
100
mean?
right off the bat, then it's like yeah,
So like that's integral as well. You know what I mean? And it also works the same way. It works in reverse as well. If Frankie wins, then he's gonna go and start
music
spanking,
blast, yeah.
the Kaido's forces and shit. So
Or
you know,
Djembe like wrecking house, and taking queen or king off the board would be huge.
hmm
But an interesting comment, he wants the pirates and the samurai and all of them to finish each other, but he says this confrontation is developing as expected. So the government agency was predicting that the pirates, the samurai, and would be in conflict with Kaido's forces. I don't know how you predict that Big Mom shows up in any of this, but very interesting to know. Very interesting.
hmm
And he's just saying, please continue to do your utmost to take each other out, my dear pirates. So, we're getting some, puppeteer vibes from this guy in the background.
yeah.
Um, you know,
Um,
plots on plots on plots.
hmm to me, I raises the question, the nature of CP0, because like we're given the setup that okay, they directly report to the Tenryu Bito, and they're like bodyguards for them and shit, as
And
far
we
as I
know
understand.
Henry Vito like serve, so it's like,
But I don't think the Tenryu Bito are really involved in anything, like as far as like maintaining order or any of that shit. Like they just they
well,
live in wealth, and they care about like being comfortable and having power and money and stuff. And then it's the five elder stars who are
That's what I
making.
was gonna say. I think I think they're like they don't really like I think it's a stretch to say they represent all the Tenryubito. I think like under the direct control of the Gora side, the 5 stars, I think is more accurate. Like I think they're
Mhm.
their extension of their will, and we've seen that they are subservient to one of the
Team.
Im Sama. So
Yeah.
I think that's all connected there. I think that's what that's directly leading into. So I guess Im Sama with his Rinnegan is planning things, plots on plots. And yeah, and this I guess would tie in with the prophecy because we know that Momo's mom was like a time hopper, so I'm sure that might actually like play in somehow, some way, possibly, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, those are all the points I wanted to bring up. Did you have any additional things you want to talk about?
Um, Sanji looking like he's getting real wrecked out there, bleeding, running away, looking all.
Sanji gets pretty roughed up in every situation, so I wouldn't be overly concerned about it. He
Mhm.
seems to get like fight very sloppily, in my opinion. Like at least he takes a shitload of damage and then he unleashes his attack and then wins the fight that he's in. So I don't think this is outside of the Sanji trend, but I want to see him accomplish something instead of being a fucking running joke. Um, yeah.
If I could have one request, it would be that kid man up and give us a good attack or something. I don't know, like contribute, man.
Yeah.
You're like slacker in the group project right now. You're dragging everybody down.
Yeah,
Um,
seriously. Um, but yeah, so what's your rating for this chapter?
I want to give it a 10. I mean, I found no fault in it. Kept me intrigued. The cutaway from the battle with the commentary, I think, was exceptionally needed and really kind of set the stage for more, or I guess raising the stakes or showing us there's more shit going on and taking us out of the battle for just a moment, giving us that breath of air.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think what else? Yeah, the only thing that was like that irked me, I guess, was kind of like Luffy, gassing out. That's about it. But other than that, no complaints. So I guess like 9.5. Like, but great
Mm-hmm.
chapter, excellent fight scenes, good development. Um, yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I won't be as generous with a score of 10, but I
I'm gonna lower
did.
it to a 9.5. 9.5.
Mhm.
Because that
I
Luffy did.
I would give it a 9.5 if it wasn't for the damn silhouette tease at the end. I hate that so much. Like they did this with Neko and Inu. Like just
The
it's
show it
more.
was a cool ending moment. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been more impactful to have Kaido looking like a fucking beast in hybrid form, completely displayed out, like staring them down with Big Mom next to him, versus this little tease going on. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. So I'm gonna give this chapter a 9. But aside from that small issue and the annoyance with Luffy and his G4 complications, this was a really good balance of combat and background and like this. We saw what was going on, but it didn't feel like you know a huge it still held my interest. I wasn't like, oh man, come on, go back to the main fight already. There were some interesting things going on there. We got some setup, speculation and
What
the
was the Shogun's
stakes.
name again that got killed by Kaido again? Do you remember?
The Shogun that got killed by Kaido.
Yeah.
What do you
The
what?
the guy that was the Hydra mofo. That's
Oh,
like
Orochi.
yeah,
Orochi.
Orochi, yeah, Orochi, yeah. Still looking pretty dead right there, with his head lying on the ground. I had hopes about a Hydra theory, but
I think
he's
Fukuroka Ju
real
is going
dead.
to revive him. Like he walked away ominously before when shit was going down, and that captain of the Mimi Waguri, the samurai force,
Mm.
was like looking at him like, what the hell is this guy getting up to? I'm pretty sure he's Fukuroka Ju is going to go revive Orochi. I think Orochi gave him instructions on how to do so. But yeah, I don't think Orochi's done. But yeah, great chapter. Great fucking chapter. The stakes get elevated, hype ass like combat situations. Like couldn't really ask for too much more.
What will our heroes do next? Because it's looking ominous as hell for these guys.
Yeah.
Kaido's, we don't know if this is his final form. That's the thing. This might not even be like Ultimate Kaido. This could be like, oh, this is just 1% of 100% of my power, and he gets more
Yeah.
muscles.
Who knows? I mean, even Lucci in a hybrid form had different modes. Like one was like he had a smaller frame one that was more around speed, and then he had his bulkier one. It's around strength. But I can't imagine like Kaido was already fast as shit in his human form, swinging his club in Thunder Bagua. I can't imagine that being in hybrid form doesn't raise his stats all around. So
Mhm.
yeah. MVP of the chapter. I'm gonna give it to Zoro. Zoro did damage to Kaido and saved his captain in the process.
My MVP here will be. Damn, this is a hard one. I'm gonna give it to Kaido uh, for transforming, still doing cool things. That Twister attack was cool as hell. Finally pushing it to the next level, and then talking about how fun this is pretty crazy.
Mm.
Um, no, I can't. And he only gets the nudge on the MVP, just barely. Because I think all around everything was just great about this chapter. I mean, everybody had good and bad moments. Zoro tripping was a little ridiculous for me during a battle, but whatever. Um, it was cool seeing the CP0 guys there scheming in the background, looking all ominous. That was dope for me. Um, yeah, but Kaido for laughing at the end with his dragon claw hand,
Hmm.
uh, wanted me begging for more. I can't wait for next week because it's
Yeah.
about to go
That
on.
that's valid. That's a valid argument. I could see that. Predictions for next chapter. I'm gonna say instead of starting off with the Supernova versus the Yonko, I think it's gonna be reversed. I think we're gonna get scenes from Onigashima and in the beginning of the chapter, like maybe the first half, and after some like plot points get established there, we're gonna switch back to the roof again, and we'll finish up with Kaido's hybrid form being revealed. Um, the end the chapter that way with us like having full
Had
reveal
a
of what
little
his hybrid
development in
form
that.
looks like.
Yeah. My prediction, yeah, I think they're gonna start to show us other stuff going around, like because at the end they show all the battles developing and all the and they mention the executives. So I think now would be a pretty good time to go back and check and see how those battles are going.
Yeah.
King, Queen, Usopp, Nami, Sanji, all these guys like doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So
The concern I have is that I don't want them to like this rooftop fight is cool. I love it. And it's like everybody's like, I want more of this, I want more of this. Don't cut away from the rooftop fight. And it's like I don't mind them switching back and forth. I just don't want to cut away from the rooftop fight and then come back and like everybody's laid out and it's like we missed all the cool shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I don't want us to get anything cut out.
yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna like maybe even just catch us up to what the hell happened because it looked like certain guys went through a little bit of development, like Genbei, Usopp, Nami, and Sanji look like they are a little further ahead than where we left them. So maybe like they'll catch up with those stories, I guess. But yeah, I think hopefully they progress concurrently and like you said, like it'll come back and forth and it'll just be like pause in the fights versus like oh time elapses and we miss stuff, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, CP0, yeah, like you said, them mentioning the executives and then the stakes of what it means for them to be taken out and how that affects the tides of the battle and shit. Like, everybody always doubts them. Everybody's always like, oh, the Straw Hats can't overcome this situation. There's no way they can beat our huge force of da 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 da. And then, like,
And
they
they
always
always
get proven
fucking do.
wrong. So,
Yeah.
I'm
Chances that CP0 though joins in the battle on the Straw Hat side to like flip the scales completely.
I don't know if they're gonna join anybody's side. I think they're going to be opportunists, and I think when they feel like they can take advantage of the situation, they will. That's what I think is going to happen. But yeah, man, great chapter. So happy we don't have a break next week. We can just keep fucking going forward, get more content straight into my veins. Loving it, man. Good Valentine's present.
I'm addicted. Awesome. Thank you, Oda. You're doing good work. You're doing God's work. You're doing the Lord's work. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, man. I love it. I can't wait to see this animated though. Oh my God, it's giving me a freaking
Yeah, this shit's gonna be
thinking
hype.
about this.
Do
Yeah.
you watch any of the anime?
No. I'm pausing right now. I'm waiting to build up like for certain arcs. I'm gonna wait another arc to build up, and then I will start to catch up. Because I think after this is when it's like, okay, it's a good time to like jump back in.
Mm,
And right now I'm like watching a couple of the shows. We're watching Shippuden, so I think after that, One Piece is probably where I'm gonna head to.
gotcha. Well, all right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the chapter as much as we did. And any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below. We'll discuss anything you guys want to talk about. And we'll be looking forward to talking about this again next chapter, chapter 1004, coming out next week. No break. Woo!
All right,
All
guys,
right.
have a good night.
Peace.